Good morning. Just wait for some of you to come on. Hello. Hey Krista, how are you? Hey Lisa. Okay, great to see so many of you pop on so quickly. So today I want to talk to you about what you need to do when your tendency is to kind of shrink and run away from stuff. I reached out to an old client of mine this morning because I sensed that something had been going on with her, and I do this quite a bit. My sense around people is pretty strong, you know, if I just get this sense that things are not quite as they should be. And so I made contact with this lovely lady who's been, you know, an off and on client of mine for many years. And I basically said, how are you going? Is everything going the way you want it to? And you know, she said, you know, I'm in a really not a great place. And, you know, I've gone back to full-time work instead of trying to build my business. I'm, you know, feeling good about that, but, you know, I let a lot of things go in a bad way, and I'm just not in the best space. So I've tended to want to run away and hide. And, you know, I see that a lot. I see, and I've actually helped women create so many amazing businesses. The brands are right, you know, the business itself is right. It should be a really successful business. It's built on a proper model. It's got the branding right. Everything's right. But there's this key element that's missing, and it's that you know, the deeper work that needs to be done. It's that underlying and convicted belief that whatever it is that you're trying to achieve can be achieved, and that if other people can do it, then you can too. So it's really doing that deeper work to shift all the crap that's holding you back. And so this lady's in this place, you know, and I said to her, what you need to really do right now is push against that desire to shrink. We need to expand instead, and we need to push against it, because what's happening is if we let that take hold, everybody, but I should backtrack just a little bit as well. And, you know, one of her comments was that, you know, I'm just feeling like a fraud because I'm not walking my talk, and I'm feeling like I'm, you know, not good enough, and I shouldn't have done this sort of thing. And I said, I'll just let you know that, you know, if I could put it down to a percentage of how many people I work with hold that belief, it would be everyone. Everybody has that thing going on. Everybody has this thing where they feel like they're a fraud, they're an imposter, they're, you know, they shouldn't even be attempting to do what they're doing because you know, they're just not good enough, or they haven't got enough experience and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, as a percentage, all the people that I work with and conversations that I have, yeah, there's probably about 100% of people who have that. And so the decision then, thank you for the love, the decision then becomes about, do I let these thoughts dictate the actions that I take and the direction I take my life and my business in? Or do I push against it and fight against it? Because those thoughts aren't real anyway. They're just fear. They're just ego's way of trying to keep us safe. You know, and the ego is all of the negative self-talk. The ego's job in our life, and I'm not talking about the, you know, ego as in, you know, I think I'm all that. It's more about the ego in a spiritual term is about the fear, and it's letting all of the negative self-talk, and it's all the stuff that's trying to protect us. Is essentially, you know, when we go to aim for something big, when we go to aim for something much bigger, our natural tendency is always to say, well, that might not be safe, that might not work out. What if that doesn't work out? And what if people think I'm an idiot? Or what if I fail? And so the ego's job is to go, yeah, we need to keep that conversation going because, you know, we wouldn't want to risk anything. You know, this is safe here, this feels comfortable. And so we have to push against that, and we have to be really forceful with it, and we have to be, you know, reminding ourselves that this is not reality. This is just fear. Fear is doing the decision making right now. Fear is doing the talking. Fear is directing the direction of my life right now. And you have to say, fuck off to that, because at the end of the day, if you let yourself be controlled by those thoughts, if you let yourself be dictated by that thinking, then 5 years from now, you're still going to be where you are right now. So it's your job to work out, this is where I want to be, and this is where I am right now. And someone else has done this, so it's possible. I know it's actually possible. I've seen that. And there are parts of me, many parts of me, that know that I can do the same as well, because you couldn't have the thought if you didn't think it was possible for you. Thank you for the love. You could not have the thought if you didn't think it was possible for you. You just couldn't. It wouldn't have arisen for you. So there's a big, deep part of you that says, I can do that. I can make that happen. And then what gets in the way? Ego and fear. That's the only thing that gets in the way. Sure, you're going to have things that you don't understand. So for example, I'm about to direct a movie, a docu-movie. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but it's happening. I'm visualizing on it every day. I'm journaling on it every day. I've taken action on it every day. It's happening. It's going to be released in probably August. And so for me, because that's there, and I could go through the fear of, well, what if people don't want to watch it, or what if it's a waste of time, or what if it doesn't come out the way that I think it's going to come out, what if we miss the mark on the message? Yeah, it is, Lisa. If I focus on that stuff, I would never get anywhere. So the trick is, in the moments of inspiration, when you're feeling like, yes, this is the thing that I can do, this is what it's supposed to be, that's when you need to take the most amount of action. The most amount of action you can, and force your way forward. And then when that other stuff turns up, sure, you're going to not know how to do stuff. Yeah, that's good, Suzanne. You might come up against stuff that you don't know how to do. But, think about all the resources that you have, around you. I have, a best friend who has his own TV show. So you can bet I'm going to be picking up the phone pretty often and saying, can you just tell me what to do next? Or can you just tell me who I need to hire next? Or can you just help me do this? And I'm probably going to be a pain in his ass for a few weeks. But it's not going to get in the way of my desire to make this thing happen, because it's bigger than me. This idea that I have is bigger than me. And it's the same for you. You're going to hit walls at times. And then the ego is going to come out and it's going to say, see, I told you couldn't do it. See, I told you it was never going to happen. See, I told you were just dreaming. And that's when you've got to push against it and expand into the vision instead of retreating. Because every time you retreat, you just make the process longer and more painful, because it's going to happen anyway, isn't it? It's going to happen anyway. You're going to make it happen. If you've had this vision in your head, if you've had this idea for something and it's really strong and calling you and it won't go away, it's not going away. It's going to stay there until you do it. And this thing is not going away until I do it. It's been on my radar for a little while. I only just put it on my vision board and said it out loud, with any real intention, just a few weeks ago. And so much is already happening already. I've recruited some amazing people to come on board. The picture is forming more and more clearly in my head. So how I'm combating the ego and the fear and all that sort of stuff around this particular project is I'm just visualizing it every day. I'm journaling on it every day. I'm watching videos on how other people have done this same sort of thing in different areas, different areas of industry or whatever. And I'm just making myself an expert on how to create a successful business. And in my visioning, in my mind, I'm seeing myself and my friend toasting with champagne at our opening preview. So, that's really strong for me. And every time I get drawn into the, oh my God, this is so overwhelming, there's so much to do, I've never done this before, I'm reminded of, so what, there's a lot of stuff you haven't done before and you did it anyway and it worked out. And it's just this pushing against the resistance. It's this constant push against the resistance that shows up. And just like, for you guys, it's not necessarily always going to be there. But when it does, you need to be aware of it and see it for what it is. It's just fear wanting to keep you safe and, keep the status quo. But you have to push against it. You have to continue to push against it and expand outside of it. I heard something the other day, I think it was Harbecker, and he spoke about problems of any size are only a problem unless you're bigger than the problem itself. So what we want to do is grow and expand into the person that makes that problem look small. So, I can remember back to, being a single mum and then finding out I was pregnant after I left my husband. and live 2 hours from my parents and all that sort of stuff, you know, and I've forgotten where I was going with that. I had a little back down memory lane moment. But, you know, even back then, I was always setting visions and expanding into it. And part of that process is the stuff that I still do today. I think that's where I was going with it. And today I'm running a journaling program, a free training in about 15 minutes. I'll post the link in a minute. It's within my group, and I'm going to be talking about all of the processes that I do pretty much every day, you know, to step into this vision. And it's not easy to go for big things in your life. It's really not. It's difficult because we're combating that fear all the time. And, you know, if I was, again, to put a percentage on the amount of people who felt fear around achieving their bigger goals, it'd be, you know, roughly 100%. Like, everybody has it. And so it's just this consciousness not to give into the fear and to push against it. And what we need to do every day is work on it. And it's not necessarily even the work on the tasks. So for me, I don't do anything at all in my business until I'm aligned, until I've done my journaling work. These days I'm doing visualization as well. All of that stuff needs to be done to get my head in the place that I need to be in to do the work. Because you can't do the work from a place of feeling scattered or not believing. So the work that you do, it's a really weird and interesting shift, actually. Because if we go ahead and we decide that, okay, say this thing is the docu-movie, right? My project, let's just talk about that for a second. If I go in there going, well, fuck, I don't know how I'm going to make this happen. I have no idea. I don't know that anyone's going to say yes. I don't know that anyone's going to watch it. Now, imagine if I go forward from there and say, right, I need to do 3 things around that goal today. What are those 3 things? How effective do you think that's going to be? But if I've spent time journaling, if I've spent time visualizing and I'm seeing myself cheers with my girlfriend at the opening preview, if I can feel that in my body, if I can see it, if I can picture it, if I can visualize that, and I'm getting this physical response to it, you know, my heart rate goes up, I start to get excited, I'm imagining myself in the outfit that I'm going to wear. It's a done deal. So how much more powerful is it if I come out of that visualization and sit down with my journal, write about the experience, and then say, right, what am I going to do today to move the needle on this thing? What do I need to do? Can you see just how different your actions are going to be and the impact that those actions are actually going to have on you moving forward with your goal? It's night and day. Honestly, it is 100%. So just, you know, an aside tip, never try and do your big work towards your big goals unless you're aligned to it first. If you do it from a place of doubt and going through the motions, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get anywhere fast. Thanks, Lisa. But if you go there from, you know, if you start to take action when you're in that space, when you feel like it's already happening, that's when the magic happens. And that's where you want to be for any of your big work, any of the big work that you need to do. Anyway, let me just see if I can find that link for you so that you can, oh, hang on, I think I've got it on my, bear with me for 2 seconds. Edit post, paste. Okay, here's the link. So it's just above, and I'm just going to post it in the comments as well. This is to one of my private Facebook groups. If you're already in there, that's fine. But if you're not and you want to be a part of this training that I'm going to do in 10 minutes or so, sorry, bear with me, I'm multitasking. Sometimes that doesn't go well. Okay, it's in the comments as well. So you can just follow that link, ask to be led into that group, and then I'm going to let you in, and then I'm going to be running the training. So it's about, you know, an expanded version of all the stuff that I've been talking about now, because it helps you to push against the resistance. You know, all of this morning ritual that I have, that I've been following for so many years now, and I hone it over time, and I feel like I'm in a really good place with it right now. So when I do all of that stuff, big magic happens. You know, magic happens every single time. And it's not just the same for me. You know, I run a journaling program as well, and we do this work in that journaling program. and I do this work with my one-on-one clients, and the shift is almost instantaneous, and it's epic, like within a very short amount of time. You know, we know that what we focus on expands, and this is helping you to focus exactly on the things that you want and not the things that you fear. Because when you're continually focusing on the, oh my God, I don't want it to fail, oh my God, I don't want to invest in that and then have no money come back to me and end up in trouble, or oh my God, I don't want to look like an idiot. That's all stuff you don't want, and you're giving so much energy to that. And if you're giving the energy to that, that's what you're going to end up with. So it's instead, you know, doing all of these morning practices and daily practices to be able to pull your focus back onto what you want and exactly what you want in a really crystallized version. Because when you do that and you can focus on that, it's going to expand. You know, you're going to get that. Some of the stuff that I have written into reality in my own life, it still blows my mind. Honestly, it still blows my mind every single day. And you know, the energy's in the air for me at the moment. You know, I've got some big projects on the go, and big things are unfolding, and it's because I've kicked up this process that I do. I've added a few other elements into it as well, and you know, I'm living it before it's even happened, and that's the trick. You know, that is the trick. Anyway, I better go because I've got this other training in 10 minutes or 11 minutes. But if you want to be a part of that, sorry, it's ladies only, guys. But if you want to be a part of that, you can click on that link above, and that'll take you to my Facebook group. I'll let you in, and then I'm going live with the training in about 10 minutes. Thanks for listening today. It's Friday here in Australia. I've got a little bit more of work to do, and then I'm going to take the day off and go and catch up with a friend and do some shopping. And yeah, whatever you're doing this afternoon, enjoy. Bye.